Welcome to the pod.
Is it on?
Yeah.
Are we going?
Yeah, we're recording now.
No, we gotta wait for this bitch in the kitchen.
Welcome to Not That It Matters, the podcast that we do from here.
Welcome to Not That It Matters, a podcast made in St. Louis, Missouri.
You cannot redistribute this without the express consent of Major League Baseball.
The New York Yankees today played the Boston Red Sox.
The score was 1-1.
Mickey Mantle went 2 for 2. Joe DiMaggio went 2 for 3 with a home run.
The babe was out with a quick bout of emphysema.
The babe was dead. Thanks. Bye, Allie.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Not That It Matters.
Hi.
We are joined, as always, featured player.
Wait, who's we?
You and me are joined
By who?
by you and me.
I was gonna say, wait, what?
That didn't make any sense.
Hey, wait. Yeah, this is a podcast where we
Put your goddamn mic closer to your face.
This is a podcast where we
Oh, there you go. It's got to sound much
we
better.
gotta do that Creed thing.
Oh, there you go.
This is a podcast where
Can you take me higher to a place where blind men see?
can you though? I like that in 22 Jump Street. That's Jonah Hill's personal hell. He goes to a satanic land where they just play Creed really loud.
I told you that story that happened to me the other day, right? Of the woman who yelled at me for playing Creed.
No, good for her.
So
though.
we were at a local bar, and we were at OB Clark's, like this sports bar in St. Louis.
You put Creed on.
There was a good reason for it. So this woman was like just controlling like the touch tunes they have there, and was only playing techno. She's playing like hard EDM,
Okay,
and just doing it like
Hard EDM.
I'm not even. She played like 15 songs in a row, and I was losing my goddamn mind.
What's hard EDM? Give me an example. Like who's an artist?
I don't know.
I'm sure you're gonna say like it's Daft Punk.
No, it was not Daft Punk, but it was like just ridiculous EDM. And so I walked up to the touch tunes, and I did the John Mulaney bit. Where you play a song. So I did Higher. What's the other one?
Also Higher by Steve Winwood.
Not that one. So I played Higher by
Love.
Creed. What's their other like really big song?
Arms Wide Open.
Yeah. So I did Higher with Arms Wide Open, and then Higher again. Yeah.
Oh man, they have another huge one. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up. I feel like there's another massive one that I'm forgetting.
Really
but
big Creed song?
Yeah,
That's that used to be like our bit, like me and my friends.
Playing
Because
Creed.
touch tunes, like you have like the app that you can
Oh, yeah.
put everything on.
Yeah.
So like as we were
Oh, My Sacrifice.
My Sacrifice. Oh god damn it.
Sacrifice.
Jesus Christ. That's what we used to do though, is we used to like as we were leaving a bar, we would put on
as you
all
leave.
of Creed songs.
That's a pretty good move.
Or you just put it on and you just sit in the corner and watch the place unravel.
Yeah,
It's great.
I've done that once before, but I did like 25 times. I did Dancing Queen by ABBA.
Holy fuck. You played 25 times in a row?
Yeah, well, it was at Bobby's Place, which is a bar in like
Which one?
in what's it, Fenton?
Fenton? Okay.
Yeah, and we had just walked in, and I knew that we were going to be there for a long time. So I logged in as one of my friends, Christy's, on her phone, so it said her name, and it just she just played Dancing Queen 25 times.
Oh my god, that is very rude.
Oh yeah, because every time it just starts with that music, and you're like, again.
I was thinking Mamma Mia.
That's
Did I ever tell you
ABBA.
the story of when I went to go see Mamma Mia
Live?
I saw it in theaters.
Oh,
the original with Amanda Seyfried and
the original
Pierce
Leslie,
Brosnan. I went to go see it with my grandma, like at a matinee, and we were the only two people in the theater
to see Mamma Mia.
to see Mamma Mia.
There's a new one. It's isn't it
Mamma Mia 2.
TOO, right?
Yeah, Mamma Mia also.
Mamma Mia as well.
Yeah, Mamma Mia 2, Back in the Habit.
This time it's personal.
Yeah,
Mamma Mia 2, the squeakle.
the squeakle.
There's so many good Electric Boogaloo is everybody's
Electric
go-to, but
Boogaloo,
I feel like
yeah.
that one doesn't do it for me anymore. It's been overdone.
Yeah, Electric Boogaloo's been done.
I'm a really
the
big fan.
squeakle is kind of getting the same way.
It
So
is.
is Back in the Habit.
Back in the Habit,
Mostly because we say it a lot.
yeah, we say Back in the because we're the only two that
We're big Sister Act 2 fans.
no, we both listen to the podcast another podcast that uses that as their go-to.
Oh, which one?
Do go on, use it.
Oh,
they use it like
Back in
every
the Habit?
episode. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
shit.
That's why I don't mean to. I like This Time It's Personal.
This time it's personal.
Yeah.
What about With a Vengeance?
Oh, that's yeah.
Because isn't that Die Hard 2?
Yeah, well,
Die Hard 2 With a Vengeance?
we know the best Die Hard sequel was A Good Day to Die Hard.
A Good Day to Die Hard.
Because if you put that as the sequel name for anything, if you made it like, what was it we were just saying? What movie was it? That we were saying something to.
Oh, Mamma Mia.
So if it was A Good Day to Mamma Mia.
A Good Day to Mamma Mia. That's a good one. What does Mamma Mia even mean? What is Mia? Is it just fun?
Is her name Mia, the mom? Meryl Streep's character?
Dude, I don't know.
That makes sense.
I watched that movie once when I was a young whippersnapper.
She is, I'm gonna look it up, but she is Amanda Seyfried's mom in that movie.
Yeah, she is.
But
And I think the new one is like Meryl Streep's character, but like back in the day.
Oh, it's a young. Oh,
Yeah, so it's like when she was meeting like all these possible men that could be the father. All these flings in Greece.
no, because Meryl Streep plays Donna Sheridan Carmichael.
Donna Sheridan Carmichael.
Yeah, Mamma Mia is the name of the song by ABBA.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's one of those plays.
Mamma Mia,
Here I go again.
here I go again.
My.
Bye. How can I resist you?
I think that's one of those plays where they just took a band and they're like, I like ABBA a lot.
I'll tell you what they
Can
did.
we just base it around ABBA?
It's only ABBA songs.
There's a few shows like that. American Idiots, the Green Day one.
They literally made a whole play just based on that album?
Yeah, and they had I forgot what the character's name is, but Davey Havok, the lead singer of AFI, was the main character in that for a long time, just singing Green Day songs, and so it was very popular.
Yeah, and then Hamilton
Broadway.
too. Hamilton is all songs that Alexander Hamilton wrote,
We know that he did.
and then Lin-Manuel was like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
got a story to go around this.
Yeah.
Let's also do like his life."
It's funny though, because he's not going to miss his shot, but he did, and Aaron Burr killed him.
He threw it away.
Yeah, Aaron Burr killed the shit out of him.
Yeah, that's always fun. That's fucking crazy that a president was murdered in a duel.
Do you know that St. Louis used to have an island called Bloody Island? That
And
was
people would just duel there?
Yeah, that's all it was.
Oh, that's fun.
So
where's it at?
It's now under the Mississippi, but back in like the 1800s, it was between like in the
Flooding, global warming.
It's
people.
true. That's the only proof is Bloody Island.
Yeah, it's a small island in St. Louis.
Yeah, but it was like a sandbar that was pretty big in the middle of the Mississippi between Illinois and Missouri, and people would just go there to duel because that was
Did they have to row a boat out there?
Yeah, but it was also because that was back when there was this weird law where like that was also considered like international waters. So they could go out there and just shoot at each other, and it wasn't illegal.
Oh my god!
So they'd be like, "All right, let's duel. Let's go out to that island."
Well, that's kind of like in Gangs of New York.
Yeah.
Do you remember when
exactly.
They can't box,
Yeah.
so they just have it like on a barge.
Yeah, yeah,
They have a full boxing arena.
It's the same with in The Office when Dwight and Andy have that duel where Andy hits him with his car, and they don't do it on work promise. They'd go out to the parking lot.
Oh yeah,
he hits him with his Prius.
Oh my god,
because it's quiet under 5 miles
Dude,
an hour.
I love that show so much.
It's one of the best shows ever. I think. Probably, yeah, we've talked about this.
It's the greatest show.
Yeah, if not the
It
greatest
has to
show,
be.
it's the most rewatchable.
Oh, there's nothing even close to most rewatchable.
Well, it's funny because it's like The Office, and then like significantly lower Parks and Rec, and then significantly lower than that everything else.
Yeah,
because I can watch
Friends
Parks
is up there too. We talked about it. But
Yeah, I can take or leave Friends, but
Friends can kind of suck a big old fat one.
It can.
It's not that funny.
not anymore.
Yeah.
Those two shows hold up really
Fucking
well.
laugh tracks. Like anytime I
Yeah.
hear a laugh track now, I'm just like, boo.
I know, and especially
Even though they
new
had
shows.
they had a live audience though, so
I hate to say
it's
it,
a little
but
different.
The
But
Netflix shows and Amazon series, like any of those, like you have no excuse now on network TV to use a laugh track because we know, like Alex was sitting here reading the comic we'll talk about later while I'm watching that show Love on Netflix.
Yeah.
And it's very funny, and they don't use a laugh track.
yeah,
Most shows don't anymore.
it's almost offensive now.
That's what I mean. You have no excuse.
Well, it's offensive because it's also like why are you telling me where I should be laughing?
Yeah.
It's
You should
like
be
I
writing
find
good enough material that there's layers to it.
Yeah, I mean, The Office, like Parks and Rec, those shows don't have a laugh track.
They don't even have music.
Yeah, but it also allows you to laugh at like so if you watch like something like The Big Bang Theory, which I mean is a hacky, horrifically unfunny
That show's very
show.
offensive to anybody that likes anything considered nerdy at all,
Yeah,
or
But
just
it-
likes their life.
but yeah, so like they have like these like big like setup jokes.
Yes,
Like you can see them coming from a mile away, and then they do the joke, and then big uproarious laughter.
yeah. It's always, and their jokes too are so hacky because they're like, oh, okay. nerds, all right, what you like is, okay, so what about that? Here's a joke. What if, remember that time Doctor Who and Captain Picard and Harry Potter were all on just like standing on like the deck of like the Death Star? Do you guys remember that time? And then there's a bunch of laughter and everybody in real life.
But it's also like,
what?
It's also like, part of the joke is one of them getting so offended because they're like, none of those people were ever together.
I bet if you'd ever read Harry Potter, you'd know in Chapter 7 of Book 3 that never happened. Because Harry wasn't on the Death Star. He was on the Millennium Falcon.
This just reminded me, I was looking up today because I'm buying my girlfriend something for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
But I was also looking at birthday presents for you, which is, when's your birthday again?
April. Early April, yeah.
I was looking if there was a signed Kingsley Shacklebolt wand.
Signed by the actor?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to find. And I couldn't find it anywhere.
Oh, dude.
I know. That was going to be my gift for you.
It'd be something that only I would love.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, because like a Kingsley Shacklebolt wand's like $50, and then there's also like... there's like signed things by the actor, which I don't remember what his name is, but
I forgot his name. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I was looking for. I was looking like on Etsy and a bunch of different places.
Real fast aside. Oh, not anymore. But for a hot minute there, you're wearing this. You're wearing a Gryffindor like union suit.
Yes, I'm wearing a. Even though I'm not a Gryffindor, they don't have Ravenclaw onesies at my local Target.
Yeah, of course.
So I only have a Gryffindor onesie.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're deep in the mix of the. We're in betwixt the polar vortex.
That's right.
And I was cleaning all my pants.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Oh yeah, I didn't explain why.
I was like,
I was like cleaning all like my sweatpants and like my joggers and pants and everything. So I literally had no pants to wear, and it is like 3 degrees outside.
Literally.
So the only thing I had that covered my legs was a onesie.
Yeah, and you're like, I was jokingly telling Alex that he was late, even though he wasn't. But he was like,
I was a little late.
Well, I was making a really dumb joke that only I thought was funny, that it was Eastern time. Eastern time zone. Yeah. Like I was only late because you told me the time, but you actually meant Eastern. Yeah, I only told you what the time was in New York.
Yeah.
You were like, my outfit will make up for it. And when you got here, so you were wearing this. I had no idea where you got that, but just now you're wearing like a gray like beanie.
Yeah.
And you had it like flapped really weird, so it looked like you were a little man in a barrister's wig in a Harry Potter robes, like a Harry Potter union suit. It looked very much like a barrister's wig, and I was
also wearing moccasins.
Hey, I'm right there with you on that one.
You are wearing moccasins.
I'm wearing some mockies.
Yours are like fratty moccasins. They look like Sperry's.
They are Sperry brand.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
They're Sperry's moccasins?
Yeah, and admittedly, I am the most fratty person you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Wearing a Rick and Morty t-shirt that I got from a loot crate.
With your Green Lantern tattoos.
That's true.
Coming out of your shirt.
Yeah. Let's get into
this comic.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, the comic. I thought.
What were you going to get into?
I don't know. We never talked about what the other stuff we would talk about was, but we'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah. We never discussed that.
We'll take a break and reconvene.
I'm sure you'll have to pee.
Yeah. Oh, that is a given.
Yeah.
A couple times.
So, we are talking about a comic today that I love, and I've been trying to get Alex to read for a while.
Yes.
He finally read it. It is Mark Russell's first volume of The Flintstones for DC.
Yeah, and it is pretty fucking great.
Dude,
it is incredibly well written.
Yes. Tightly written.
Yes, and just like plethoras of jokes per page.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like unlike most comics, it's very funny. It's purely a comedic comic book.
It's very smart jokes too.
Yeah, like very highbrow humor.
Well, it's smart jokes, and it's also very dumb jokes.
Yeah, well, but I feel like they're also smart. Like you couldn't.
Yeah, well, it's dumb jokes in that they're puns.
Oh yeah,
but it's all like parodies and like satire on like culture today.
Yeah,
as it would happen in Bedrock 100,000 years ago.
Yep.
But like, yeah, the quick example in one of the first pages of this comic, since I just read it today, there is a 2-page giant panel of the city of Bedrock, and there's like all the businesses there. and there is an Outback Snake House where they serve snakes.
Yeah.
So like just a dumb pun, but right next to that is Plato's Cave, which is like a deep philosophy cut that like not many people would understand.
Which is also playing on Plato's Closet.
Yeah.
Like so because like the cave allegory is like like very famous philosophical.
It's more like the
allegory.
It's like the basis of a lot of philosophical arguments. Is Plato's Cave.
It's the basis of like it's the basis of what Socrates told Plato and that he wrote down for us.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of people think that Plato, it was a lot of his ideals. He just said, "Oh, Socrates said this," so it makes more sense.
So it has like a little more clout.
Yeah, I guess. Even though it's everything he wrote is what Socrates said. Is what Socrates never wrote anything down.
Yeah.
So everything we know about him is Plato's. But we're not getting into that today.
We're not getting into high Greek philosophy.
Yeah, we're not getting into Stoicism and Platonism. Yeah. But the Flintstones is like, it's also one of those rare comics that like is so big that it like exceeds just like the comic book world. Like when you look at the front of it, it has, some comics, especially in like a trade form, when they like collected editions, will have quotes from like reviews, but they're usually from like comicbook.com or something like that. These are both from The Hollywood Reporter and Wired. Like
they don't usually pick up on that.
Yeah, I mean it's Wired or it's Hollywood Reporter saying one of the sharpest social satires around in and out of comics. Yeah. Like you'll never really.
I still think the only like satire that's better, and it's only because it's longer and more in depth, and you have like a whole world around it, is Grand Theft Auto 5.
Well, that's so different.
Not really. It's a lot of the same like levels of satire.
I can't go into the Flintstones and manipulate the world, and like you have so much more room to work with there.
But there's also like smaller shit in there, like in GTA 5. Like there is a Facebook. I don't remember what it's called, but it's like a play on Facebook, and also it's called like Life Hack or something like that.
Well, and it's also just a straight up play on LA in general.
Yeah.
Like they use a real city.
Yeah, they do.
Because Bedrock, I think they're kind of impressive in different ways because they put so much good satire in GTA 5, which is like a massive open world game. And then the Flintstones is like this, like, I would say for my money, as far as like written comedy goes, one of the tightest, like actual like written comedic things I've ever read. Like it's just like
do you think the only like the closest thing would be Snagglepuss by Mark Russell too?
I've only read the first issue, so I can't really say.
Oh, I thought you read the whole first volume.
No, I've read the first issue.
Just the first issue.
Yeah,
do you have all the other ones?
No. Well, no, I don't. I need to buy them.
Oh, I thought you had them all.
No, I have the trade is in my is in my pull.
I'm so sorry.
How dare you? How dare you? It's so offensive. Well, no, I'd say the other closest one is the second volume of the Flintstones by Mark Russell.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to think of another really. There's one called Maestros, which is amazing. It's very, very funny. And it's like it's not as much of a social satire. I mean, it is. It's more of a satire on like what would happen if like an ancient, like magical civilization, like their leader died and his like bastard millennial son from Earth like came over like with his cell phone and he suddenly was the ruler with like the most magical power. And he's just like he's just like, it's really, really funny. It's very goofy. And like, oh yeah, Maestros is really good. I feel like didn't I give you all 6?
No,
I thought I did.
No,
I thought I gave them to you like as a gift.
No, you did not.
Oh well, then that was my intention, but I never did.
Oh yeah, I'll have to read it then.
They're excellent. I think it won the Eisner last year for best comic, like best new comic.
I did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Was nominated. I don't know if it won or not. I can't remember what won last year.
I don't know. I don't follow the Eisners.
It's the Oscars of comics. It really is like a thing to follow. If you're
barely follow like Oscars and all that kind of shit. Yeah. It's just all like hacky shit. Well,
the Eisners is not the way the Oscars are, though. It's not like a bidding war, and like it's not like a popularity contest,
which the Oscars 1 billion % is.
Right? Because like Maestros would not have a comic like an Image comic that's very niche and very like small, like narrow casted would not, like a movie like that would not be nominated for an Oscar, except The Artist, which is like a fucking just like. I don't get that one still, but
The Artist, the silent film.
Yeah, the French silent film that won Best Picture.
I still haven't seen it.
That one is just like an aberration.
You weren't a fan of that dog?
Dude, you haven't watched it at all?
No.
Dude, it's just, I don't, it's not a bad movie.
I know it's excellent about it, but
it's excellent filmmaking. I don't disagree, but like, That is what won Best Picture.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. I'm gonna look up what it was up against because I feel like I remember thinking there was something.
We should talk about that today too. Talk about Oscar noms.
Yeah, who we think what should, because this year especially was very weak. I thought.
Yeah, it's weak, and
or the
we
movies,
definitely have to talk about it because it's comic book. There's comic book movies
for the first time ever.
nominated. Yeah,
Dark Knight, I guess, and Logan. Logan got some tiny. Credit.
Yeah, but
and Dark Knight was
Black Panther's way more of a comic book movie than either of those are.
Oh yeah.
Logan's not it doesn't feel like a comic book movie at all.
No, Logan's
and the Dark Knight. Actually, we've talked about it ad nauseum. It's a fucking
crime drama.
It's a crime drama, crime thriller that happens to have Batman.
Yeah. I'm looking up who the artist was up against. But anyways, we could definitely get into that. But let's talk about the Flintstones.
Yes.
This is 5 issues.
6.
Is it 6?
6 issues.
Oh, sorry. And
that's what took me. That's what took. Nick was making fun of me earlier because I got over here and I hadn't finished issue 5 and 6.
Yeah.
And this comic book is a slower read than most comics, just because first off, there's a lot of dialogue on each page. There's a lot of monologues in it as well, but the writing is so good that you just want to go over it so slowly because it's like each word, like there's a lot of monologues that have like intense impact.
Yes.
And tell stories that you really haven't heard from characters that you haven't.
And from characters you wouldn't consider to be characters.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about that bit with
the vacuum cleaner.
And the bowling ball.
Yeah. So all of their like, there's a big like story in here about like materialism and all that kind of stuff,
and animal cruelty,
because they're all working at these jobs just to make pebbles so they can pay for just more and more shit.
Yeah.
And the more and more shit they're buying, all of the stuff is animals.
Yeah.
So it's like a little elephant is a vacuum cleaner. They have a goat on like a stick, and that's
a bowling ball is
just
your
lawnmower.
A bowling ball is just
it's an armadillo.
Armadillo, yeah. That they just roll.
It's a rolled up armadillo.
And so there's this scene between the vacuum cleaner and the armadillo where he's like, yeah, they just slam me into these pins and they just throw me in a bag, and the vacuum cleaner's like, yeah, I mean, they only take me out every now and then, just shove me back in the dark of the closet, but the only thing that gives me hope is knowing that my friend Bowling Ball's out there, like,
you're on the other side of the door. God. And then it's like, and you know what? That's kind of like the whole meaning of life is how we connect to one another. And you're like, Jesus Christ.
Shit. Yeah, there's a good bit that you're reading that I forgot about where he's talking about like what marriage really is.
Yeah, and
that was great.
Yeah, here, if we want to pull up the actual monologue, because it is, I mean, it's beautifully sad, like deep, especially somebody who is like thinking about marriage, like coming up in the next couple of years.
To who?
To my wonderful girlfriend, Brandy. But there is just the best. Let me find it. Nick, talk.
Yeah. Well, I was. Mark Wade just has this. Mark Russell. I'm sorry, not Mark Wade. Mark Russell has this. He has this way of like in the midst of writing a handful of dialogue, like chunks, we'll say, like little monologues, of weaving in like devastating sadness and like perfect, like punctual humor at the same time. You got it?
Yeah. So I have the quote.
Yeah.
So basically, they're at this marriage retreat and they're discussing the merits of marriage. And they're asking Fred Flintstone what his like worries are.
Yeah.
And he says that Wilma will stop loving me. Marriage is life insurance. You only enter into a lifetime of commitment because you're afraid of the future. But does being married mean she will love me forever? Or is it just my attempt to keep her from finding somebody better? Is marriage really a sacred bond or just the illusion of security?
I mean,
Jesus Christ.
Well, and he also just takes religion to task the whole way through.
Yeah, it takes religion to task
in a great way. Like
it takes like not bigotry, but kind of bigotry.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, homophobia.
Hardcore. What's the one? It's not like it's like the take on like it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, but they do a thing like that where like because they're talking about marriage. There's a sign that says something like that. I'll see if I can find it. There's like a riot where they're like rioting against marriage or something.
Yeah, so basically a lot of the commentary, like one guy, they're forming an angry mob to go protest all the married people. And there's another great line where one of the guys is like, why do you think marriage is bad? And he goes, it's immoral because it wasn't around when I was a child. Like, that's his answer.
Yeah. Well, here's two great signs in their angry mob. One of them says, marriage is unnatural. This one says, the number one man plus one woman equals two weird.
Yeah.
This one says, God hates dads.
God hates dads. That's so funny.
I fucking love that, dude. I'm going to try and find
There's
that.
a lot of really good stuff in there, too. Well, because then it's like the religious guy who's like trying to get everybody into monogamous relationships. These two guys that are lovers or not or non-breeders, as the religious guy calls them.
Yeah.
They're trying to get married. And he's like, no, that's just weird. Like, marriage is normal, but those guys getting married is just weird. And then Fred goes into this whole thing about these two men that he's grown up with his entire life, Adam and Steve.
Yeah.
Who have been lovers, are just like, they always help out the community. Like, they're like the nicest people in the world. And they're like, well, if they're not getting married, then I don't want to get married.
Shit, I can't find
It's a very great social which one are you looking for?
It's that one with that sign about Adam and Steve where they make fun of that, that like...
I don't think it's not a sign. It's these two guys that are in Fred's life. Their names are Adam and Steve.
Oh, but I thought there was somebody that had a sign like that. Or maybe, maybe you're right. Maybe they say it.
Yeah, they say that they are Adam and Steve. Like, those are their names.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I also want to go over some of the very good pun names for the stores.
Oh, yeah. I saw a good one.
There is
Footlicker.
There is Panda Panda Excess.
Panda Excess,
where they actually just serve pandas. There's Spears and Roebuck instead of Sears and Roebuck.
Yeah.
The Outback Steakhouse, which we've already said. Starbricks.
Yeah.
Starbricks Coffee.
Here's Hammerstones, which is literally just hammer and stones.
Yeah.
What's this one?
Oh, there's another fun. It's not like a pun name, but there's just also this great scene where they go to Mr. Slate's mansion, and it's like it's Fred and Wilma, and she walks in and she goes, "God, I love this place. It's like a Sky Mall lounge in here."
Oh, dude, isn't there? Oh, what's the one? What's the mammoth one? Whammoth, Bammoth, thank you, mammoth.
Whammoth, Bammoth, thank you, mammoth.
That is one of my favorites.
I was telling Nick earlier, it made me laugh so hard the first time I read that. Whammoth, Bammoth, thank you, mammoth.
Because I mean, like I said, that's what's like, they're actually hard to make, like that many good puns, but but it's also like dumb humor. So it's like, it's highbrow stupidness. So it's silly highbrow.
There's a bar called Homo Erectus.
Yeah.
And there's also like a nightclub that's the Pleistocene. It's just so fucking stupid,
dude. I love that so much.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's one of those comics too where like there's no plot, like it's just each story kind of happens.
Yeah,
in each
issue kind of focuses on one topic, like that whole marriage stuff. Yeah, that's all one issue.
Yeah.
The last issue in this one is about the end of the world.
Yeah.
And then so it's the end of the world. It's over the news. And then everybody just starts freaking out.
Yeah.
And there's this great scene where Pebbles is telling Mr. Sargon, like the scientist, that discovered this on his Applecus device, that the world was ending. She just goes, why can't you just lie to people to give them some semblance like of normality in their final days? And he's like, I can't do that. I can't lie to people. And then the priest is like, why? It's very easy.
Yeah, it's all I do.
Yeah.
Because he changes the name of their god multiple times to like make people happy.
Yeah.
For like, because it's...
So it starts off as Morp.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember why, but they all don't like Morp anymore.
Yeah.
So then they get a new god, Peaches, which is this little purple elephant. And then Fred and Wilma are at the mall, and they realize that Peaches is just one of the vacuum cleaners. Yeah. And they're like, so there's all these like people speaking out at all of the church meetings, and they're like, we don't need to listen to you about like how we like deal with morality and mortality and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, you do. You have to come here. She's like, I can just talk to my vacuum.
And he's like, oh no.
Yeah.
He's like, it's Gerald now.
Yeah, he comes up with the invisible God.
Yeah.
So it's like more of a direct commentary on like Christianity.
Yeah.
And it's an invisible God named Gerald. But it's even like it tackles like even like complex problems of like when the world is ending. They're like, I've like spent all this time worshiping Gerald, and where is he now that the world is ending?
Right.
Like, he's not going to save us.
I love it.
And it's like, yeah,
He's not.
yeah.
Yeah.
And no God is.
No, and they don't try at all to like pull any punches. Like they're not. It's directly attacking that stuff. Like he's not doing it in the sense of like he's not saying outright like Christianity, but he's attacking whatever he wants. And
yeah, it's like it's anybody with like any sort of religious belief at all. We're probably just relating it directly to Christianity because that's what we were raised on, and that's like.
Well, you could relate to Islam or Judaism, especially those.
Yeah,
three.
no, for sure, but like that's why we have like that immediate attachment towards it because that's like what we grew up on.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're also in America, and that's
the dominant.
all the ridiculously religious people are all Christians.
Yeah, the loudest and most annoying people.
Oh God damn it, they are.
So when I say dominant, that's what I mean. I don't mean like they dominate. I just mean that they yell the most.
Yeah,
yeah. But Flintstones
God
is one
hates
of
dads.
Yeah, God hates dads. That's it's
a very good sign.
It's so well done,
Yeah.
and the art in and of itself is great social commentary.
Yeah,
it's all that's where we get all that stuff from.
It's
like
very complex, very fun art too.
Which I'm assuming Mark
everybody
Russell
looks
wrote.
every character looks kind of ridiculous, like they're all ginormous. Like Fred and Barney are huge,
massive.
Yeah,
Fred especially is just gigantic.
Yeah, his arm. He has like 17 biceps.
Yeah. It's one of those comics too where by the time you're done reading it you're like if you as somebody that writes you're just like I don't feel like I could write something this well constructed.
Yeah, you could not write that.
I agree. I could not.
Yeah, it is very well written.
It's so
what
good.
else has Mark Russell done?
No, dude, I don't know that much of his stuff. He did Snagglepuss. He's done another I feel like he did another Hanna-Barbera character that I'm blanking on at some point. Or maybe he didn't, because DC, they did this thing where they did a run of Hanna-Barbera characters on like different comics. Like one of the best comics that's come out in probably the last 5 years or so. It was a single issue. It was Tom King wrote Elmer Fudd and Batman crossover. Dude, it's
was
amazing.
it good?
Oh, it's fucking incredible.
Great.
So what it is
That's
Elmer
fun.
Fudd thinks that Batman murdered his girlfriend, and so all of the Looney Tunes characters are personified as like real people. Like, and they're like, so like, what's the Daffy Duck? You know what I mean? He's like this like goofy little like weirdo dude that's hanging out like as a barfly, and like a lot of the other characters are like sitting at like Foghorn Leghorn, and all of them are like at a table together, but they're real people.
Yeah.
But it's like really good because Batman and Elmer Fudd like come to this agreement and they decide to like take down the killer together, and no, it's really, really good. Tom King's great.
Dude. Mark Russell hasn't done shit.
No.
But, so he's like a regular author.
Yeah.
So he wrote the book, God is Disappointed in You. It's a modern retelling of the Bible.
I need to read that.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
And it's with cartoons by a New Yorker cartoonist, Shannon Wheeler.
Oh, okay.
And then he also did a follow-up book about non-canonical Christian and Jewish texts called Apocrypha Now. And then he did Flintstones, Snagglepuss, and then Eisner Award for Best Writer in 2018. And the Flintstones was nominated for 2 Eisners, Best Limited Series and Best Humor Publication.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, this does actually really feel like a New Yorker like comic book in a weird way.
The good stuff about the New Yorker, because the New Yorker can be very annoying sometimes.
Yes, it can be.
Did you ever read their review of Infinity War?
Yes, it is one of the most obnoxious reviews ever, because it's like, this movie's like so fragmented, and it's like it's told from directors that expect you to watch like all the Marvel movies before. It's like, yes, that's who it's for.
Well, yeah,
it's not for you.
They're not hanging around for newbies at that point.
I would never
20 movies in.
If I was trying to get somebody into Marvel movies, I wouldn't go, okay, first thing you got to watch Infinity War.
Yeah, watch them all die, and then you'll go watch them all grow from the beginning.
Yeah, watch them all start.
Then watch yourself get back to that point.
Yeah, see Thor go back to bleach blonde eyebrows.
Yeah,
dude, Thor looks so
the first
dumb
one
in that first movie.
Yeah,
he looks terrible.
Yeah, because that's.
I mean, still hot as fuck.
Are you kidding me?
But
yeah,
his hair and brows.
Yeah.
Need some work.
Oh, dude. Well, it's just the brows.
Just the brows. Well, yeah.
And also he only did the long hair. Like he specifically asked Taika Waititi on the third one, like, don't make me
have the wig again.
So he has it for a little bit, and then they shave his head. Stan Lee shaves his head.
It looks so much cooler.
Oh yeah, he looks great. And then he loses the eye. Like he loses an eye, and he even pulls that off because he's just fucking cool.
He's so pretty.
He's just beautiful.
He's so beautiful.
Okay, out of the Chris's, who's the hottest of that? So you have Ruffalo,
Evans, Ruffalo out of the Chris's.
Oh, what?
And you said Ruffalo.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah, old Chris Ruffalo.
Chris Ruffalo. Mark Hemsworth.
So you have
Hemsworth, Evans,
Pratt. Evans, Pratt.
There's another one I feel like. Chris.
Oh, fuck, marry, kill?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna fuck Thor. I'm gonna fuck Chrissy Hemsworth. I'm gonna marry Chris Pratt, and I'm gonna for sure kill Chris Evans.
Everybody says that. I love Chris Evans.
I fucking hate Chris Evans. Actually, I don't hate Chris Evans.
Yeah,
I hate Captain America.
Oh, a lot of people do. He's got that Superman complex that people hate, where he's just like too good of a person.
He's too good. He has no demons, nothing.
Yeah, he's got
demons but they don't really affect who he is.
I was gonna say I think Superman has more demons than he does.
Probably, yeah.
Because he's like Superman's like really affected by his dad's death, even though he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, and then Chris Evans or Captain America's just like, I was frozen.
Yeah, and all everybody I knew is dead, and I'm in a time I don't belong in.
Except for my best friend, who's still alive.
Well, that's convenient. But it had nothing to do with the story.
No.
They weren't related. He just happened to also be frozen and trained as a Russian spy.
Oh, he's got a metal arm.
He does have a metal arm.
I'll get that arm.
I'll get that arm. How much for the arm? Dude, Bradley Cooper in those movies is a different person.
Yeah, I don't even hear him at all.
If you didn't know it was Bradley Cooper, I bet you would have no clue it was. I feel like.
Same with Vin Diesel.
As Baby Groot,
he is Groot.
Because as full-grown Groot, he sounds pretty much like what Vin.
No, he doesn't.
He has the same amount of lines that Vin does in every other movie.
Family.
Yeah, it's my family.
It's my family.
It's my family. And then he's playing Bloodshot in the new Bloodshot movie. It's coming out.
Bloodshot.
Yeah, I don't know that much
about eyes and lack of sleep.
Yeah, he's a Valiant character. Valiant Comics, you know.
Oh, okay. Valiant does that comic Valiant High.
They also
new one that just came out.
Yeah, they also do one that I think I let you read, which was Secret Weapons.
I have it. I have not read it.
It's very good. It's about charers who have
confused.
the worst superpowers, and then they make a super team together. And
Secret
they have
Weapons is kind of confusing. Why are all the issues numbered weird?
I don't think they are.
Are you sure?
There's a 0 issue.
There's like 2 0 issues.
Yeah, they came out. You read those. Yeah, they came out afterwards.
Okay.
Eric Heiser or whatever his name is.
Are they just prequels to what happened?
No, they're follow-ups because he's basically being like, I'm not going to write another series, but I have 2 more issues I wanted to put out. So,
boo.
No, I mean I'd like him to write another series, but he's a dude that he's more of a screenwriter because he wrote Arrival. Like he's done some big stuff. Yeah,
okay, that's a fun one. That's a good movie.
Arrival's great.
Yeah,
I think he was nominated for an Oscar for that one.
I think he was. Yeah,
for best adapted screenplay. I think it was a book.
I am not sure, but I know it was nominated for Best Picture though.
Yeah, but Secret Weapons. I'm going to forget a few, but the characters that make up that team. One of them is a girl who can talk to birds. That's it. Another one is a guy that can turn to stone, but when he does, he can't move.
Best adapted screenplay.
Best adapted screenplay. Yes, you got the girl talking to birds. You got a guy who turns to stone, but then he just can't move. And then you have a guy who can conjure up something like at any time, but he doesn't know what he's gonna get. It could be anything. Like sometimes it's like a rubber chicken. Other times it's like a suit of armor. One time he actually it's a full suit of armor that didn't have a sword. Another time he conjures up like a hammer or something at the perfect time, like randomly. There's some really good characters.
By the way, this Eric Heiser guy,
yeah,
he wrote Arrival and then just wrote 2 Netflix movies that are both hunks of shit.
Oh, did he? What did he write?
He wrote Extinction.
Is that terrible
Michael
alien?
Pena, Lizzie Kaplan.
That's a bad movie.
That's a terrible
That
movie.
also might be the direction because that story concept is kind of interesting.
It is, but did he also fucking write the part where it's not actually aliens, it's just people?
I would assume yes.
That's awful.
I think it could work. I think that story concept is interesting.
Yes.
I won't defend the movie. It's terrible.
The movie's awful.
It's very bad.
He also wrote Bird Box.
I haven't watched it. Isn't that great?
Bird Box is good until the ending, and the ending is awful.
Everybody says it's amazing.
The ending's terrible.
Oh, I haven't heard that.
The rest of the movie,
I haven't seen it.
The rest of the movie is very good.
Really?
The ending almost ruins the movie.
Nobody has said that except you.
Can I tell you what the ending is?
No, I want to watch it.
Fuck.
I'm going to watch it tonight, probably.
So dumb.
Now that you say that.
Okay, you have to watch it.
'Cause
we'll talk about it on the next podcast.
You know that you're in the minority, though. I haven't heard anybody say the ending's terrible. I've heard everybody say it's just like an amazing movie. That one,
the movie is great. The ending is awful.
well,
It's one of the dumbest like cop out endings I've ever seen.
that is also the case for a movie I saw last week called Glass.
Oh, it wasn't good.
I would say the first. Well, it's like a lot of people will say. I don't feel like I'm like not ripping anybody off here. A lot of people agree, but it's the third act that ruins the movie.
The whole third act does.
Yes.
No.
I don't want to.
That sucks.
I won't spoil it on here. I'll tell you afterwards. But
Okay.
it's a joke.
Did you see Unbreakable too?
I saw it a long time ago. I didn't rewatch
Okay.
it.
I've never seen it, and I've only watched Split. And
Yeah.
Split's a great movie.
Split's really, really good. James McAvoy is great in this movie, and there's like even Bruce Willis isn't really phoning it in. Like he usually hasn't
As
put
of
much
late.
effort
Yeah.
into movies, but this one he's
I mean,
like
the
doing
dude's
all right.
worth like a couple $100 million.
Yeah, but Sam Jackson puts a bunch of effort into everything he does, and he does everything.
Yeah,
And he's
that is true.
good. James McAvoy does 23 characters in
Dude.
this movie.
I went to IMDb and I was
Yeah.
about to type in Bruce Willis, and my finger just like grazed over the L.
Yeah.
and Samuel L. Jackson popped
I'm
up
sure
first.
he did. Yeah. Wait, really?
Yeah,
The
for
L?
L.
Yeah. He's just that big. Well, him and Harrison Ford go back and forth every time each one of them does a movie for who has the largest box office gross combined as an actor.
Yeah,
Like all of Harrison Ford's movies have made.
Samuel L.
He has
Jackson
Star
also
Wars.
has the benefit of being in
Right.
every Marvel movie.
Harrison Ford's not in that many movies, especially not anymore.
No, well, he had the full run of Indiana Jones, and then he had all of Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, he's had 4 Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh, then he had that crazy big movie,
Firewall.
No, I was gonna say Blade Runner 2049, which is a great movie, but it made no money.
Dude, that movie's incredible.
Yeah, it made no money.
That fucking offends me to no end.
Yeah, the movie's artwork.
Fucking insane.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's a great story. It's a beautiful movie to watch.
Yeah, it looks like Altered Carbon.
You could literally take any screen grab of that movie and it would be like a wall art piece. Like you could put it up and people would be like, that is
Oh,
gorgeous.
for sure. Yeah. Well, there's that. One of my favorite pictures is like the car that's right next to the ocean.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
With him standing with
Ryan Gosling.
old Rye Goss standing next to it.
Yeah.
It's only an 87% of Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes, a lot of times, can suck my dick. It's always wrong.
It's a good like gauge, I think. You don't use it to pick and choose what you want to see, I don't think. Unless you're really on the fence and you're like, I could take it or leave it.
Yeah, but if you're also like, should I see this movie and it's got like a 97? You're like, yeah, I probably should.
Yeah, that's the way I do it.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a movie where I'm like, I really don't want to see this. It's a 97, then maybe I will.
I literally don't think Blade Runner made any money.
I bet it made-
$150 to $185 million budget, which is insane.
And then what did it make?
$260.
Yeah, not with marketing. There's
Yeah,
no because
probably
they marketed the shit out of that too.
Yeah, it probably made
Like,
money.
Well, I shouldn't say the shit out of it, but they did market it quite a bit for that kind of a movie, and it's really long. It's like 2 and
163 minutes, so 243.
oh yeah, almost 3.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Dude, do you think that's going to happen once we transition into 3-hour-long movies?
Do you think what's going to happen?
Like, do you think that's going to happen?
Transition to 3-hour movies?
Yeah.
No.
You don't think it will?
Well, they don't ever want, not as long as there's theatrical releases, because it won't be able to play as much in theaters. They want you get
They want higher turnover.
if you get anything 2.5 or less, anything above, you lose a view. Usually, you lose one like showtime a night
Okay.
per theater.
Yeah. Well, it just seems like it's going that way. I mean, because I remember when the transition happened to like 2-hour movies.
Me too. It was always
Like
90,
Well,
and then it was 2.
oh yeah. 90 minutes.
You're right.
But yeah, it was like late 90s, early 2000s.
Yep.
Once like Lord of the Rings hit,
Right.
that's kind of around when it changed.
Because they were like 2.5.
Yeah, it was
And
a long
Return of the
one.
King was like 3.
And then people were like, okay, that's a little aggressive. We'll go down to 2.
Yeah, well, because I think you started to see that with like James Cameron and people like that started that trend in like the 80s and 90s.
Super
But then,
long movies.
but that's how film goes. It takes a while. There's always those early like adopters.
Early adopters, yeah.
And
Well,
I
it's
mean,
the same thing with anything, any technology, any.
I just feel like film is really slow in that way.
Yeah, film is very backwards.
Like, because like
Roman
technology
Polanski
moves.
got kicked out of the academy a year ago.
Oh my God, Brian
And he
Brian
was-
Singer is still making Red Sonja.
Yeah.
He's about to make a couple like $20 million.
Multiple movies, yeah.
He's about to make like $20 million from Bohemian Rhapsody.
Jesus Christ.
Because you know they structure some of those director contracts and writer contracts like players in like sports where like there's escalators. Like if the movie makes this much money, you get this kind of a bonus. If the movie does, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I just want to say an aside from something we talked about a while ago about those contracts in baseball. Manny Machado and Bryce Harper are still free agents, and pitchers and catchers report to spring training in a week.
Jesus Christ.
That's a fucking
So they're unsigned?
yeah, and they're not close. Neither of them.
Wow.
So it was like Craig Kimbrell, like
So
the
we might go
biggest
into
free
the
agents.
season with them not on a team?
We might, yeah,
Holy shit.
And
Two
like
of the best players in the entire MLB.
yeah,
not on
well,
a team.
yeah. I would say like two of like the
We
top.
could probably
15 or
get
20.
Harper for like 150.
No,
St. Louis. You
we're
don't
not
think?
looking for 150.
You don't think so?
No,
About like 150 for like 5 years.
Yeah, 150 for 5 would be a little.
30 mil a year?
That actually wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
And that
My little knowledge of baseball, I'm just throwing out numbers.
no, that's pretty good actually. I feel like
He's worth 30.
he's worth more. He probably would want more. I think he wants 40, but he's not going to
40
get
a year?
40. But I think
So that'd be 200 for 5 years.
what the big report out these days is
Yikes-a-roos.
like.
Dude, baseball, you can make so much fucking money in baseball.
I have no idea why anybody would ever play football ever. If you want to be a professional, there's just
Baseball is
no
also
reason.
way harder to like make your way up through the minors and everything.
That is true.
And baseball is so like, it's always just like up in the air, kind of like, yeah, you gonna be good this year or not?
That's true. Well, and
People
baseball
go through
has,
like nobody in like the NFL, like Todd Gurley doesn't go through like a 5-game funk.
well, you also have 162 games in baseball, so 5-game funk is nothing.
Well,
But-
a 5-game funk for the NFL,
You mean comparable like to
Yeah,
like
a
50
5-game
games in
funk
the
would be-
MLB?
like 5 weeks. A 5-week funk in the MLB happens all the time.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah, and that
Dude, Dexter Fowler went through a full season, and people were like, "He's the starter in right field."
yeah,
Like he didn't even.
yeah,
he
you
hit
can't have
180.
You can't have like Todd Gurley, somebody who's making like probably like 20 mil a year. Actually, I don't think he is.
No, he's still on his rookie
Ooh.
contract.
We got to plug in the old computer. It happens every fucking week.
It didn't die yet, though, did it?
No, it did not.
Turn on that left
Yeah,
switch.
Flick the old light switch.
I'll keep talking.
See if this mic travels this far.
It should. But what I was gonna say is
Is it that light switch?
yeah. Yep.
Cool. Oh, I've been sitting down. This onesie is riding up on
yeah.
my balls.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Dude, you would be an like insane person to play football now, knowing what we know about CTE, like
Oh,
concussions,
yeah.
and they don't have guaranteed contracts in football. Which
They
is
don't?
no,
I thought they did.
no, not at all. What you get is like what you'll see in
I
football
don't know
is like
shit about sports.
well, what you'll see in football is like you'll get 30 million over 5, and then like 18 million guaranteed. But what they do is they front load those contracts so that you'll get that 18 million as a signing bonus in like the first 2 or 3 years. That way, you're very easy to cut the last couple of years. The end of that was Sam Bradford. He was the last one to get that massive rookie deal. He got 80 million over 6 years with 50 million guaranteed.
When he was 22.
Yeah, 21, and he'd never played a down in the NFL.
Yeah.
He could. Well, and that's the thing is,
And he's probably one of the biggest flops of all time.
no, not at all.
You don't think so?
No, not because
He's terrible.
no, he's not. He's not
he
terrible.
was.
No, he wasn't terrible. He was just like mediocre.
He was terrible with the Rams.
He wasn't terrible with the Rams actually.
was.
No, he was
he
not.
was.
Nah, he was rookie of the year.
Was he?
Yeah, he was pretty good.
That's
or
pretty
maybe second in rookie of the year voting, but he was pretty good with the Rams. His problem was he started hearing too many footsteps. Like he got
He
hit too
started
much.
getting scared,
He got
yeah.
hit too much. But
Well, I mean, I would be scared too if like a couple 280-pound guys were tackling me. Like,
or Aaron
regularly.
Donald at like 300 pounds, but also faster than me on like any of those guys. Like
Yeah,
a freak.
They run like 4 240s and they're like 300 pounds.
I mean, it's just what the hell?
There was a video going around the other day that I was blown away by. It was like a defensive lineman for some college team,
yeah.
and he was doing like handsprings and like
Yeah.
standing back flips and
Yeah.
shit.
Well, do you remember Denario Alexander that
giant.
played at Mizzou and then he played with the Rams?
Yeah,
He
kind
could,
of.
he could do a standing 50-inch vertical.
Jesus.
Have you ever 50 inches in the air just standing there?
See, everybody plays in the NFL, but it's like It's just like that's where all of the most like supreme athletes go. Yes.
Not as much anymore.
Still. Like
I still think NHL players are the most athletic players. And I think you have to be because you have to do so much. You have to be able to hit and be fast and be like
do you want to know,
hand-eye.
Well, they definitely have the best endurance, probably of anybody.
Well, they're the only one that continuously plays.
No, soccer. Soccer's got the best.
No,
endurance.
I feel like it's
the NHL is like 60-second sprints.
I feel like they might be equal because soccer, you're not like sprinting all the time. You're kind of like there's a lot of times where like the play isn't even close to you and you're kind of jogging. But then the NHL, you're like you take it in shifts. I feel like they're kind of similar.
But soccer you run like 15 miles a game. Like
I'm sure they skate a fucking shit ton, dude.
The reason why I think the NFL is the best athletes is because or at least the most explosive.
I was going to say explosive. You can't.
But I mean, if you look at nobody in hockey has the body of a D lineman.
Well, that's actually what I was going to say is that's the only place where you can have that body and be successful. Except maybe
it's like 8-second sprints of plays.
Yeah,
or even less.
And because the only other places you could be like the Prince Fielder of baseball. There's a couple of those guys every year.
Fielder.
You know what I mean? Where they're just just
a fat slob.
Yeah, who can just smack the ball out of the ballpark, and that's all he does.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking. I was also thinking they're just like the best athletes because John Jones, the UFC fighter.
Yeah. Well, they're great athletes too.
One of the baddest men on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's in talks as being the GOAT.
In his sport, you mean?
Yeah, like in UFC. In his division in the UFC.
Yeah.
Just because
he's got to be, right?
He's so dominant. No, not really. Daniel Cormier probably is. Even though John Jones has beat Daniel Cormier.
But that doesn't always mean anything.
But Daniel Cormier was also the light heavyweight champion, and then he moved up to heavyweight and beat the reigning champion.
Yeah. It's funny because you would think it's McGregor, but it's probably not.
Oh, it's not. No, there's nobody more famous than McGregor, but he's not even close to the GOAT.
Yeah, there's never been anybody
Anderson
that famous.
Silva's high up there, but he fell off really hard.
Well,
he got popped for steroids and he lost a couple fights.
Their problem too is they don't UFC doesn't have the sort of crossover appeal that the big four sports does.
No, it's too violent.
Gladiator sports don't have that.
It's but what made me think that the NFL thing was because John Jones has trained to be a fighter and trained in wrestling and all that kind of stuff. And his brother Chandler Jones is a defensive end
for the Patriots still, or did he go somewhere else?
I think he might be the Patriots.
Yeah,
he was with the Cardinals for a while.
Oh, then he's not with the Patriots anymore. But he was a first round pick.
But yeah, so his brother,
Syracuse, right?
His brother it's his older brother, and he's like, yeah, my older brother can beat the fuck out of me.
Chandler Jones is his older brother?
I think so.
Oh shit! I thought John Jones was older than him. Chandler Jones must be old then.
Oh no, he's got to be his younger brother. He's only 28.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got to be.
But he's like, yeah, I'm one of the baddest men on the planet, and my little brother can beat the shit out of me.
He's also way bigger than John Jones. Chandler Jones is a defensive lineman.
Not much. Well, no, yeah, he's 50 pounds heavier.
What? And taller, I'm sure.
He's 6'5".
Yeah.
John Jones is pretty goddamn big. Yeah, but
no, Chandler Jones is. He was one of those freak like Robert Quinn.
Yeah, I mean, John Jones is 6'4". His brother weighs more, but that's because his brother works out with the NFL.
Yeah,
and steroids are super legal in the NFL.
Yeah,
well, illegal, but they're also okay, guys, we have a steroids test. It's going to be next month.
Yeah.
Figure it out. And they're okay. I can pass that.
That is actually what I want to talk about.
Steroids?
Nope. It's going to get me on to what I want to talk about.
Okay.
And I feel like we actually said we were going to talk about this because I think you actually disagree with me on this. But
okay.
I was going to say the NFL is a super corrupt league. But that goes into what's been happening a lot lately because we live in St. Louis and our former NFL team is now in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And lately, out of a lot of different places and different outlets and sources, there's been a lot of shit talking about our town. People have just been talking about how shitty St. Louis is. Shitty because the Rams left and thank God they did. They were suffocating here. Yeah, I'm sure they were.
Only won a Super Bowl and went
to another one and had one of the best offenses of all time and had the worst stretch of football, which is the only time that people weren't showing up.
Yeah.
And then Chris Bryant, who plays for the Cubs, came out and said he thinks St. Louis is the worst. It's so boring and he hates it. And Ryan Dempster agreed. And then there's been a ton of articles coming out that have been sort of in response to the Rams going to the Super Bowl that are just talking about how oh, St. Louis is in this big decline. Like, why would you ever go there? It's the worst. Like, fuck St. Louis. And it's just been this like, so now what you have is this like social media like war between the rest of the world and everybody that lives here. Or some like James Gunn has come out, which is not a great defender, but John Hamm has also come out, and Ellie Kemper, Jenna Fisher, some of like the big stars that are from St. Louis have come out and defended it. But it's super weird how St. Louis has become like the whipping boy of America as far as cities go. It was Detroit for a hot second, but it's us.
Well, we're also the whipping boy because of all the racial stuff that happened in Ferguson a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
We also are the murder capital of America and probably all of North America. Wait, no, not all of North America.
Yeah, we got
Fucking
Canada beat. But we don't got Mexico beat.
Yeah, Tijuana's not the safest place.
I guarantee you Canada is a distant third.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't get it. My whole thing isn't even like I think St. Louis is better than anybody else, but I don't think it's worse than anybody else. Like you can make the argument. I
certainly think it's worse than a lot of places.
Is it though? Like you could make
St. Louis is a lot of put on a nice face, but I'm never going to actually tell you my real opinion about something.
Do you think every other city isn't like that? You think LA isn't like that?
I think it's probably.
You think New York? You think every?
I think LA is probably. LA might be.
It's worse.
You think it is worse?
So much worse.
Well, it's fake in terms of like that, but I feel like. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people that like are like, no, like I'm not like a racist. I'm not like that at all. And like they go home like to their family and they say like really fucked up shit.
You mean here?
Yeah. I think in Missouri in general.
I mean, you think that. We don't know that. And I don't think you're wrong. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, one, you probably have that everywhere. But two,
you definitely have it everywhere. I just think it's more prevalent probably in Missouri.
It might be, but I still don't think my whole thing is like you can't ever be like, especially people that are defending like, oh, Chicago's better than St. Louis. Chicago has 10 million people. We have 3. Like just automatically you're more than triple the size of us. Of course you're going to have more stuff to do. Like I don't think that's an argument to be like, that'd be like us being like, well,
there is like not a lot of fun. I mean, there's a lot of fun shit to do, but
see, again, I don't know.
After going to some place like LA, it's just
again, you're talking about something way bigger.
20 million person city.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I feel like that argument is so stupid, and I feel like it's so like indicative of the way America has become. That it's all like we love to find that thing that we can just fucking hate on. So then once people gang up on one thing, they're like, oh well, cool, I can get on that and fuck with them. Yeah, and people are like, well, you lost the Rams.
It'll also be over in like less than a month, probably.
I don't know. It's been going on since the Rams left. It started then.
For real?
Yeah. It's gotten.
I don't really follow the hate talk about St. Louis.
I don't really either, but I follow a lot of journalists from St. Louis. And they've been like reposting a lot of stuff. They've been like,
oh, okay.
And there's been a lot of articles written by people that were like, especially LA writers, now that the Rams are in the Super Bowl, talking about how the Rams like are so fortunate that they got out and it's our fault that they weren't successful like in St. Louis.
Sorry, I went on Twitter to see if I could find any like these St. Louis tweets, and the top thing on the like on the search page is the Kentucky governor's lawyer is saying that Kim Davis, Kim Davis, that obnoxious fucking bitch that denied the gay couple their marriage license. The governor's lawyer is saying that she has to pay their legal fees to get married. I mean, I love the world sometimes. I fucking hate it, but sometimes it's just so fun.
Yeah, dude.
That's a good time.
It is.
Fucking Kim Davis is such a twat.
I will say one thing I did love.
Asshole.
She is. Oh, one thing I did love is that, Chris Bryant came out and was like, yeah, St. Louis sucks. It's like the worst. It's so boring. Ryan Dempster was like, yeah, I never would have went there as a free agent. 2 things. One, Ryan Dempster had like an over 5 ERA every time he pitched in St. Louis. So yeah, I'm sure you didn't want to come here and fucking suck, which you sucked already. Second of all, Yadier Molina went on Instagram. Yadier Molina is the catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, and he talked about how he responded to Chris Bryant, was like, like you don't badmouth other people's cities. Like that's not the point of this. Like we're playing a game. It's not like you shouldn't be talking about that. Like only like stupid people and losers are badmouthing the other city's team. Like the Cardinals don't feel the need to do that. And you guys are the ones that were in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like it shows like there's like a level of class, which is like, I hate when people take it too far and say the Cardinals are the classiest team, but that's I think the perfect response.
Greatest fans in baseball.
Sorry, it's the BFIB, best fans in baseball.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ,
a moniker that none of us own, or if
I've
they do,
literally
we
never
don't
heard of, and I've lived here for 25 years.
You've never heard of the BFIB?
I've never heard that dumbass acronym. No.
Oh, people use it all the time, and they also say the Cardinal Way. That's a big thing too.
Oh, I know that thing.
Yeah, which is a fucking joke. But what I was going to say is Yachty also, so he posted that, and then people were trying to like talk shit on him on his Instagram, like Cubs fans, and he had some savage responses. Like one person was like, "Fuck you, you're not a good catcher. You're barely able to still play." And he goes, "My bank account says otherwise." And then the other one was, "I live in St. Louis and I think it fucking sucks." And he just put, "You better move."
You better move.
I don't get it. I don't get the hate.
Like type that out for him.
Do it
because he still can barely speak English, right?
No, he speaks. He writes it and reads it pretty well.
Oh, okay.
He just has he has trouble speaking it. Like he can like he'll respond in Spanish, but you don't have to translate it to him what somebody says usually.
Oh, okay.
He spends all of his off seasons in the Dominican, so I think that's
probably
part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Which he also won this year. He won the Roberto Clemente Award for like best humanitarian in the game.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Because he like helped rebuild or Puerto Rico. I'm sorry, not Dominican, but he helped rebuild a bunch of stuff in Puerto Rico after the hurricanes.
That's pretty goddamn cool.
But
he's a cool dude, man.
He's awesome. Yeah, he's super cool, and he's a fucking like anomaly athletically. A catcher he's 37 almost.
Yeah, he's 37. Well,
or he is 37.
Well, part of the reason why he like still has so much longevity is because he went from so fat and then he lost like 50 pounds one off season.
True. But he's not like, but he's still pretty thick.
Weight off those knees.
He's still pretty thick though.
Yeah.
He's not like in amazing shape.
Yeah. I mean, he's a for sure first ballot Hall of Famer, right?
Probably not first ballot, but he'll make it.
Think so?
No, I don't think he is. There's too much of a debate. People like his offensive numbers. Nobody questions the defense.
He's the best defensive catcher of all time, though.
Yeah, him or Johnny Bench. Pudge was pretty good too. But
who the fuck are all these people?
Johnny Bench he played for the Reds.
Truly never heard
in the 70s and the 80s.
Johnny Bench.
He's probably the best catcher.
You
of all time.
offhand know somebody who was a catcher for another team in the 80s?
Yeah. I just like sports.
Jesus Christ.
And then Pudge, you probably know him. He played for the Tigers.
I couldn't even tell you like 12 players on the Cardinals right now.
Well, yeah, but you're not into sports.
No.
I was going to send you this thing. It's one of those things where it's like
I know more than like the average person, but whenever I'm around somebody who like knows sports, I'm like a child.
What do you mean?
I have like a very like base knowledge of sports.
Yeah.
Like I know, well, like the NFL, like I know like a lot of players and
yeah, and you know basketball kind of.
I know basketball pretty well.
Soccer,
not really.
You just like FIFA.
Yeah, just like playing the games.
Yeah,
I like playing.
Yeah, you don't know shit about hockey. That's the one I'll say you know the least about.
Yanni's a 9-time All-Star with 9 gold gloves.
Yeah, gold gloves are also kind of like
4 platinum gloves.
Yeah, I mean he's an amazing player.
He got a Silver Slugger.
He has 1 Silver Slugger,
2 rings.
2 rings, and also he's been to 3 World Series. He didn't go to the 04 one. That was Matheny.
Yeah.
When we got
still
swept.
Jesus Christ.
No, but
that's not first ballot Hall of Famer.
No, it's the offensive numbers that don't get him there for most people. I think he'll make
He's
it.
batting .282
career. Yeah, but look at his first like chunk of seasons. It's pretty rough. But then he exploded out. He had a couple times where he's like top 10 MVP voting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely he'll get there. He'll get there. We had the first
36 by the way.
Oh, okay. 36. That's still so old for a catcher. They're usually way done by then.
Dude, we got to get off this.
No, that's not what I want. That's not what I want to talk about. Okay. That was my whole thing. Was that whole thing about like just like finding that like how is St. Louis like such a terrible like I don't tout St. Louis as the best city in the world by any means or best city in the country, nothing like that. I enjoy it here. I don't hate it or anything.
Yeah.
But I think I think there's a ton of cool stuff to do. And I don't think that like I don't know what the point of like
it's just so segregated.
Yeah, but
it's a big part of why this city kind of sucks.
It does, and I don't disagree.
I mean, you have 3 million people, and it's probably split right down the middle for white and black. But all the white people live out in the county, and all the black people live closer to the city.
I don't think it's split down the middle. I think
it's pretty goddamn close, probably.
Maybe
our black population is very big.
I think the biggest thing holding it back from that weird migration that went to North County and then the city is one. We have that weird city split that nobody else besides Baltimore has, which they're trying to end. I think that's going to end next year. Sounds like. Yeah,
where the city and the county are two separate entities.
Together. Dude, it cost us so much money to do that. But
it's very dumb.
And then North County at one point was a really nice area. And so they all moved up there because that was like the nice area. But then all the white people moved out in the 60s because they're fucking racist assholes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that I feel like is not a reason that like
the county is 25% black, 70% white.
okay.
That's for the county.
That's more what I meant. I knew the city was probably split. But the county is not. Drive through Wildwood and Baldwin. I'm sorry, it's all white people, unfortunately.
Yeah, which is where
we grew up. Yeah, we both did. Then
the city is 50% black,
right,
and then like 40% white.
Yeah, and then a smattering of other things.
Mm-hmm.
But I just mean, I don't think we should use that as like we can't. That's not like that. That happened before our lifetimes, like 2 generations before us.
Yeah,
I don't think that's something that we should like blame ourselves for. And actually, I feel like it's something that we're all pretty aware of and trying to fix now. You know what I mean?
I mean, maybe.
I am. I don't want it to be that way.
No, I don't want it either. But I think like maybe as a society, I don't see us moving towards that direction as St. Louis.
Well, I think we might because there's that.
I mean, there is a decent influx of young people that are still like moving back to St. Louis and living here.
It's it's a good family town.
Yeah.
Like to raise a family, St. Louis is a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
Especially the burbs.
I think younger people moving back, having a new influx of ideas, combating all
right, like progressive young people.
Yeah, bullshit ideas of further generations before us. But
I don't know. I feel like that's again. I feel like you could pick those sorts of things about any city though. Like your reasons for thinking St. Louis is like sucks is not like Chicago has some shit. Like there are parts of Chicago that like you just can't go.
Maybe every town sucks.
Yeah.
Every city sucks.
Which then means every city's good.
Every city has its own bullshit.
Yes. That's my thing.
Just for some reason
we've become that whipping boy.
The whipping boy.
I don't know why.
The kicking boy. And
well,
I don't even know what that
you can whip us and kick us, whatever you want to do. They're doing it.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is like we're also small enough that like we can't like yell above the uproar of everybody else yelling at us. So then we just sound like we're whiny. We're like, we're great.
Well,
you don't
St.
get
Louis
it.
People are like generally like more reserved. I feel like
yes.
A lot. Also, St. Louis. I feel like not a lot of people like move out of St. Louis.
No, that's one thing I will say.
Which a lot of a lot of my friends have, but.
Yeah, actually, same with mine. But I feel like you do see
general.
But most people I went to school with that I wasn't even necessarily friends with are just like here, and they're not really driven to move.
I have a lot of I wouldn't say friends, but a lot of people from my high school that just graduated from college and then moved right back to Baldwin or Wildwood, right where they grew up.
Yeah.
And they're living which I've never understood.
Living out there?
No, I don't think I ever would.
What? Living out in the suburbs?
Live out where I was born. I don't like it.
I don't think I would. I don't know. Maybe.
It's a weird vibe out there. It's a lot of like semi old money where it's like you had
parents. That's a lot of old money. Like old money.
But it's not even like that, but it's like their parents before them like had like a couple $100,000. And so like they never really had to struggle for anything. So
I guess so, because Wildwood's pretty new.
Yeah, Wildwood's fairly new.
The old money in St. Louis is like Ladue and Clayton, like which is actually closer to the city.
Yeah. But it's like it's in a weird like Stepford Wives vibe all its own.
Wildwood?
No, like
Ladue and Clayton.
Yeah. Clayton, not really.
No, that's more like urban.
Because it's like a city kind of.
Urban upper class.
Yeah, it's like a second like
Ladue
is like old white people.
I don't like Ladue. Ladue's
a weird place. I hated everybody I ever met from Ladue.
Me too. I don't like
school.
Like we have one like really upscale mall here. It's called Plaza Frontenac.
Yeah,
we have a lot of malls, but we have one that's just like all like
it's like Gucci and Vineyard Vines.
I literally
Chanel,
hate my life when I've been in there.
Well, it's really funny because it's this like very snooty. They also it's a mall that has like a grand piano that people play, like an actual piano player will come in and play. I've been in there and there's been a full orchestra.
Yeah, yeah.
There's been like literally a guy playing piano, like 2 violins, like a clarinet, and like a bassist.
Yeah. And they have this really highfalutin theater that only shows like weird French and indie films and shit.
That's the weird part is that theater is really nice.
Well, no, it is nice, but I feel like I'd rather go to like the Tivoli or like a really cool, like sort of like hipper.
Yeah, but
theater.
They have a lot of movies that like you literally cannot see anywhere in St. Louis.
Well,
that's where I saw The Big Sick when it came out. because it didn't get like a giant theatrical release in St. Louis.
I don't think I did see it there. I saw it somewhere else.
Not when it first came out, because I saw it like right when it came out. And they had it right when it came out.
That makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I let's not get into like the just specific towns in St. Louis, but
all right, let's talk about a specific mall in one specific neighborhood.
So Chesterfield Mall. No, but
closing down.
Yeah, it is. But I think you kind of, but I don't know. St. Louis is
every town has like these like kind of relatable spots though, like relatable areas.
My thing with St. Louis too is I think we're also, I don't want to say like, because I feel like there is some of that like fake, like you put on like a really like kind face, but I also feel like there are a lot of people here in St. Louis that I haven't seen in other cities that are just genuinely like, I would go out of my way to help you like with whatever. Like you could literally be
legitimately nice people.
Like some people that are like this, that's sort of like, because they're in St. Louis and it's not like the South like as much. It's like they're sort of like big city, but like they'll like pull over and like change your tire and shit like that. Like,
well, I think that's part of the, like why it's so weird. I think it's still just like community.
It's a big small town.
Well, it's like almost like a genetic history, because I mean, we were like Mason-Dixon line, where like literally like half the people in Missouri were fighting for the Union, half the people were fighting for the Confederates, and there's still all that family history. Yeah, that's like ingrained in all the. I mean, fucking the Civil War was what 140 years ago. Yeah. It's like a shockingly short amount of time.
Yeah. Well,
and all of that shit is still like kind of ingrained in the people here. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think because really,
which is why you have like those two sides of the same coin, where you have people that kind of have like that Southern hospitality thing, where they're really nice, they'll smile to you.
Yeah.
They say like "bless your heart," but then like whenever they're behind closed doors, they're calling girls like whores for like
the N-word and terrible things.
Like calling girls whore because like they're living with their boyfriend that they've
that's true. Yeah.
Like been dating for years. It's like still
stuff.
Like very. There's still a lot of Bible Belt people here. Yeah. Like that movie Jesus Camp was about. The documentary Jesus Camp was in Missouri,
right?
Which is one of the most fucking crazy documentaries.
We're one of those like upside down states where like. You know, you have like California, which is like a solidly blue state, or you have like Alabama, which is like a solidly red state. Whereas St. Louis, the population centers, the two big ones, Kansas City and St. Louis, are like blue,
always blue.
But then everything else is red.
That's everywhere, though.
Yeah, like you're right. Like, the population centers are blue, and then everything else is red.
That's like Indiana.
It's actually California Ohio, too. Even like you look at those, like
all those rural areas are always red.
Yeah, because that benefits them a lot more, I guess. But at the same time, like...
Well, I think it's also... I think it has a lot, especially with like social issues and stuff like that. Like if you're living in a small town, you've probably never met... Like you might have never met a gay person. Or you might have met them. Yeah. But like you're not friends with them.
Yeah. That's true. Like...
if you live like in the city, it's like I'm friends with a lot of black people and a decent chunk of gay people.
Yeah. My grandma used to tell me like these stories about how... she grew up in South Dakota, like in the 30s when she was born in 29. She was born in 29, so she grew up in South Dakota in the 30s.
When was the first time she saw a black person?
That's what I was about to say. In the 40s, and because up there, there was nobody, and she said like.
So how old was she?
She would have been like in her late teens, early 20s when she moved down here to go to typing school.
Jesus,
but she was telling
generation,
dude. Yeah, well, I mean, hey, my grandpa was in World War II. You know, they're the silent generation too. But she was telling me about how seeing those like civil rights issues that were going on during like the 40s and even into like some of the stuff in the 50s until she was like really down here in St. Louis permanently, they didn't even really seem like real because she'd never met a black person. Wow. Or she'd met a couple and she was like, they just seemed like somebody from a different country. And like
weird.
Well, and like she doesn't mean it in like a racist way. Like because she was very staunchly against any of that stuff.
Yeah, it's just lack of meeting that.
It didn't occur to me that could even be a thing that could happen. That she was just like, well, I mean, that's not really something I have to deal with. That's in the South. That's like a whole other part of the world.
Yeah.
Because she was also like less than 100 years removed from the Civil War. So the South was considered like a different country almost back then. We've unified a lot more since then. But
yeah, that's always such a weird thing where it's like that issue doesn't really affect me because like it just doesn't affect you, so like you just don't care about it.
Yeah, so far removed at that point.
Yeah,
you know,
like I was talking to this girl once, and she was like all for like defunding Planned Parenthood.
Yeah,
but she was like also like like she was like kind of calling herself a feminist too at the same time. And I was like, how does that work? And she's like, well, like I have a job that I have like health insurance, so I don't have to worry about it. And I'm like, so
that's not.
I was very confused. It was like the most confusing conversation I've ever had.
Yeah, well, that'd be the same thing as like you shouldn't help homeless people. I have a home, so it doesn't affect me.
That's like literally like what she was doing.
That doesn't.
She's
make
also
sense.
like from Texas and kind of like conservative and. But yeah,
like Missouri. We talk a lot of shit on Texas for some reason. I feel like everybody here talks so much shit on Texas.
I don't really think
I don't hate Texas or anything. My roommate lived in Texas for a long time, and she talks about how great it was.
I fucking hate Texas, though, from when we drove through it a couple weeks ago.
Well, we drove through the like just nothingness of Texas.
Well, we also drove through. We drove right next to like a giant cattle ranch.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I've literally never smelled anything worse in my life.
You could legitimately say it haunted us for like 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Like it wouldn't go away.
No.
It just stayed in the car. It was like stuck in the air filter.
It was. Because and you couldn't roll the windows down. It just made it worse. Like,
well, yeah, of course not.
No, I'm saying like even afterwards.
Oh, even
after
after it was just in the air. Yeah.
It just was in the air for miles.
Yeah.
Like you just
for like 30 miles.
You just had to like live with it.
Well, I mean, there had to have been like 50,000 heads of cattle.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And there was just like these shit pools.
Ugh.
It was, oh, dude, it was so gross.
God damn it. I fucking hate driving through the country. I love it, but I hate it.
I was going to say, what sucks about that drive to California, like that we did overall, because even like between Denver and Vegas was pretty cool. And between Vegas and LA was pretty cool.
Yeah, because you're all driving through mountains.
But the St. Louis to Denver, and then all the way from pretty much from LA to St. Louis is blows.
Yeah, it's all just flat.
Whereas driving east, it's funny.
That drive through Kansas is one of the worst drives that it's horrific that you can go on.
Yeah,
it's terrible. You just on 70 and there's literally nothing
except wind farms.
It's just wind farms everywhere. And it's just flat as shit.
Because if you look at like an atlas, like a map of like highways, there
atlas,
yeah, or like you just look at a map.
Look on your phone.
Look at Google Earth, and you can see like it
pull
just
up the map.
It spreads out so and thins out so much as you get farther west. So when you drive east, it's you don't really get bored because like there's so many cities to drive through, and there's a lot of like stuff going on. Yeah. I mean, there's just a lot more people. Because like we forget that like big move west was like you and I lived
also
in this,
like 200 years ago.
We lived in the century when the big move west really happened. Like the big like actual move west was in the 1900s.
Yeah, like
the real huge migration west, not the gold rush and shit, but like when LA and that stuff, like those cities weren't like massive until like the 40s and 50s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like.
LA is just fucking exploded, though.
Well, that's their problem. They built up too quick, and they didn't build enough highways.
Yeah, they really fucked up.
Now that you've been there, you've seen it.
Whenever they started, they probably weren't like, you know what? This city is going to be like a 20 millionaire.
Yep. Well, and their problem, too, is they didn't build up. They have some skyscrapers, but it's all just houses.
Yeah.
It's not like St. Louis. There's a lot of like apartment buildings and stuff here. We don't have.
There's a lot.
Here.
There's a shit ton over by me.
Yeah.
Where I live.
At Clayton, yeah, especially in Brentwood. Yeah. But if you like LA doesn't really have that, which is very strange. You know what I mean? They have some, but not in like the right amount. So they just kept spreading out farther and farther without the highway.
LA's old. Became a city in 1835.
All right.
It was a pueblo in 1781.
I'm sure it was. The City of Angels.
God damn it.
But yeah,
I've really never researched like the
Western migration.
Yeah, well, no, not the Western migration, but
L.A.
Yeah, like LA's like founding.
No, I don't think I really have.
I never even thought about
Isn't it a whale's vagina? San Diego,
I believe so. Oh, yeah, that's San Diego.
But yeah, none of those cities were big, and so it's funny because you look at that map and you're like, oh shit, we still haven't really settled the West like nearly as much. Like,
yeah, I mean, fucking Utah was completely empty.
Montana, Wyoming,
a lot of Colorado's empty.
Granted, those couple of states are like sort of uninhabitable because they're so like
they're barren.
You've seen Wind River,
yeah. Wind River was up in Alaska, right?
No, it's in like Wyoming or Montana.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can't live there. Like you can't. Like you can.
That movie is dark.
That movie is
Jesus Christ,
so sad. But it just blows my mind because like there's like some big cities out there, and some of like the coolest cities to visit in America are in the West.
Yeah.
But between here, like that's why we're still the gateway to the West, because we're like the last like massive city.
All the fun shit is just on the coast.
Yeah.
Everything else is
Phoenix,
all the inland
I guess.
stuff. Phoenix is pretty cool.
Denver.
Yeah, Denver. Well, there's
That's
a couple like around.
Where else?
I just saw
Oklahoma City.
I just saw the skyline for Salt Lake the other day.
Is it cool?
Yeah, it's pretty
I love
cool.
skylines.
Well, there's not much.
It just looks cool.
Yeah, it just looks cool. I don't remember what it was.
LA has two, pretty much. Like there's two skylines in LA, kind of. And then Denver's, we saw that one was pretty cool.
Salt Lake. Salt Lake isn't like as much of like a skyline, but it's just like really green, and like there's like mountains right behind it.
Oh, that's
too.
pretty cool.
Like,
yeah,
it's like the city like ends right at the mountains.
yeah. Our skyline in St. Louis is
It's like.
that's pretty cool. I like that.
It's small. Like there's not much going on, but
ours is kind of small too. But
yeah,
we have the arches, and that's what people like. Only that's like all we are good for. Apparently,
that is pretty.
It's a bent piece of metal.
Pretty true.
That's what it looks like, at least. I don't know. I
don't know if I've told this on the podcast, but do you remember when I met the Arch guy's daughter?
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
So I worked for a company this last summer, and it was a video production company. We were shooting a video for the grand opening of the new Arch grounds, and we were interviewing this woman, and I was having her sign a release form, and I go, "And ma'am, can I get your last name, and can you spell it for me?" And she goes, "You don't know my last name?" And I was like, no.
Oh.
And she goes, "My dad built the Arch."
Was he the architect?
Yeah, he was the architect.
Okay, yeah.
It was Eero Saarinen. And she's like, "How do you not know?" Like she was
going into this job, you should know this. Like,
well, because it was also the grand. It was like the grand
Right.
opening of it too, and it was like her like big day.
Yeah.
And I asked how to spell her name.
Oh boy.
Oh, dude, and she was like this like nice old lady that had like a good interview, and then I did that, and it just looked like ice running through her veins.
I will say,
ay.
she's probably pretty old, right?
Yeah.
So you could. I feel like if a young person didn't know who I was, I kind of want to be like,
yes, but
I know.
I mean, where we were.
Yeah, you should have done your research
Should've
going
known.
in, but because you
Try to know the architect of the building we were in.
Yeah, I mean it's barely a building.
Yeah.
Have you ever been up there?
Up to the top of the arch?
Yeah.
I was up there like 3 months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just went up.
It's not.
I went with my girlfen's family.
What do you think? It's not.
It's nothing.
It's not. Yeah.
It's nothing.
I mean, it's cool.
You don't need to go to the top of the arch. I mean, it's cool. It's cooler looking at it.
Yeah, actually
The
the grounds,
museum's
the new
cool.
grounds look really cool. I haven't been down there really. But
Oh, you
the new
haven't?
grounds,
Yeah.
they sound pretty
They're
cool.
really cool.
Would have been way greater with a new NFL stadium right there.
It would have.
With that floating bridge and all that shit, that'd have been dope.
Oh,
Did you see about that? That walking bridge that like went out over the Mississippi that was built so it would rise and fall with the tides of the river.
Oh, I did not. That's
pretty-
out there right now?
No, they were going to build that stadium for the Rams, but I don't know if you know, but they left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know
They
that.
moved.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But yeah.
This has been a very St. Louis heavy episode.
Yeah, we got to get off. Let's do something else.
Okay.
Pop punk. We could talk about that for a little bit.
Oh, or we can end it early because I'm about to die.
Why are you
I'm
feeling
so fucking hungry.
Oh, okay. How long
I
have you
haven't
been
eaten all day. We're already at an hour 22. It's only a couple minutes short.
All right. Yeah, we can end it. I feel like you're just, the listeners are going to be really upset with you.
What listener?
I can count them on one finger,
Okay, that's good.
but I'll talk to that person.
Yeah, we'll end it. We'll record another one in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
You know
We'll
what?
wrap it up.
We can do this off air. Off
I
air.
mean, you're still going.
Like we're live.
Yeah, I thought we were ending.
Well,
Where can people find all the stuff to find?
we should be up on iTunes.
Start with Wikipedia, but if you're looking for us,
It should be up on iTunes in the next couple of days.
is it?
I don't know. I'm working on it.
I didn't know that.
Look at me on Instagram at AuggiePanu,
Yeah.
AuggiePanu,
Yeah.
and
I'm at
Nick. Where you at?
I know it this time because last time I forgot.
What's your Instagram?
My Instagram and my Twitter are both at the Nick Lanham, TheNickLanham.
Fine. What's your email?
No, you gave it out last time. I'm not giving it out
NickLanham
again.
at gmail.com.
Do we have one for us?
Not that it matters pod at Gmail.
At gmail.com.
At Gmail.
At Gmail.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, if you guys have any like cool comics you want us to read, send that, slide in the old DMs.
Honestly, if you're listening, let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'd be shocked to find out.
Yeah, send us an email. Just say, just listened.
Yeah, we'd be like,
And then give us all your comments.
yeah, we probably ask for
Don't
proof.
worry about like iTunes ratings and all that kind of shit. Just
I mean, if you're insane enough that you want to do that, feel free.
yeah.
I don't care what the rating is.
Who gives a
I mean,
shit?
5 stars would be nice, but
Doesn't matter.
1 star would also be pretty funny.
Not that it matters. Oh, dude, that's what we should do. We should have all the listeners just give us 1-star reviews.
Oh, that'd be pretty funny. But we actually want people to listen. That's the only problem.
Oh yeah, it does fuck up the algorithm.
So give us 5 stars and then just talk shit on us in the review.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah,
yeah, do that. Right, just horrific things about us, please.
Yes, 5 stars, shit all over us.
Yeah.
All right, talk to you guys later.
Yeah. So then I was gonna. Oh, do you want to go?
Love you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Mwah.